So there's something that I find inherently fascinating about small YouTuber culture. Big Joel did a video about this a few years back, though his video was targeted and aimed mostly at a single small YouTuber. But his main idea in that video seems to pervade a lot of small YouTubers on the platform. Between Big Joel's video and my own anecdotal experience, I've come to realize that a lot of small YouTubers can be characterized by a fundamental misunderstanding of the platform of YouTube itself. First, a little bit of backstory. I was once a small YouTuber myself, and becoming a YouTuber is a lot harder than you might think. Unless you get incredibly lucky, there's going to be a lot of hard work and a lot of learning about what you can do, what you can't do, what's accepted and what's not accepted. On top of all that, you have to learn to judge your own content from the outside looking in. You can't constantly let that internal bias of yourself tell you that the garbage that you make is actually pretty good. I mean, come on, let's take a quick look at some of my first videos on the platform.
Hi everybody, Ingenious Clown here, and welcome to yet another First Impression show. This is Evoland 2. Evoland 2... Hello everybody, and welcome back to Ingenious Clown Plays. Yep, I'm doing a Let's Play. As you can see, it's a game where you are this little blob in space, and your little blob can shoot out sticks of blobby goodness to grapple. Hence the name Grapple. So as you may have already noticed, my name is Ingenious Clown and I like gaming.
In general, I think I had some good things going here as far as presentational quality goes, but as far as being engaging and providing good and entertaining content, I was far off. But at the time, I thought I was doing good. And that's perfectly fine. The idea is that as you continue to work and as you continue to improve your craft and learn things, you learn how to make better content. You learn how to make better videos, you learn more technical tricks, and you learn how to edit better, and you learn how to be more engaging, ideally. But for most of us, we start in that small YouTuber frame of mind where we fully believe that we're making good stuff and that we deserve success. I don't know if that sounds familiar to the woes that I'm facing on my main channel, but anyway, when I was starting YouTube, I found myself on a subreddit called r/Let's Play, and this is where I learned a lot of the things that I know about YouTube. r/Let's Play is a community that I tend to point people to whenever they say that they want to make YouTube content. It's generally filled with a lot of pretty good advice, people asking questions that more veteran YouTubers and creators might already know. Generally a good place to get your start, and it's a good place to start networking with other creators and possibly learn a few tricks and maybe even collaborate with a few of them. But anyone who's been around the platform for a significant amount of time might look at a lot of the threads here and find that they don't really offer a lot. I've always viewed this subreddit as a launching point, not a place where you can just hang out forever. And again, that's fine. Everybody who's starting out needs to find a community of like-minded people and just learn together. That's the best way to figure things out, is to learn together. So despite everything that I'm going to be saying in this video, I still recommend r/Let's Play as a jumping off point to learning a lot of the craft. And that goes for just about any YouTuber, not just Let's Players. Despite the name, there's a lot of good information here that can be spread across lots of different kinds of content. So keep that in mind if you ever want to start a YouTube channel. But what I want to specifically talk about today is one post that I came across and decided to interact with and instantly regretted. Even though I'm not on Reddit much, I still jump over there every once in a while to see what's going on and see if there's anything that I can, give my 2 cents to as somebody who's been around for 6 or 7 years now. I've picked up a few tricks along the way, and I enjoy helping people out and giving people information and pointing people in the right direction, so every once in a while I'll give them a little nugget of knowledge. But one day I stumbled across this post. I'm planning to start a YouTube channel for gaming news. Can I just use part of other people's gameplay on my videos? How do I go about it? And he says, I want to make a channel about gaming news, but while I talk about the game, I would like to have gameplay of the game as a video. Every similar channel does it, but I don't know how. How do I go about it? You know, I find this to be a perfectly reasonable question, and something that's very worth asking if you wanted to start a gaming news channel. What you'll find here, though, is a lot of people giving answers along the lines of ask for credit, offer credits, make sure that you record your own gameplay, and stuff like that. I'm going to read this one response in particular, but a lot of the responses follow the same lines. If you steal others' videos, you will end up with a deleted channel, as all channels over 1K have access to has stolen their videos, and they can directly take your videos down. I did that to over 30 channels that had stolen my content, and 5 of them were so bad their entire channels was full of stolen content. They got their channels deleted. Ask permission, don't use till you get a positive reply. No reply does not mean you can use it. Assume you can't. Give credit both on screen and in description. The risk of using others' content is that you risk losing your real-life assets in a lawsuit. Not worth it. Buy the game, record your own gameplay. If I saw someone using my content, I'd always take it down. You have to protect your work. So now we're getting around to the point of the video where I explain what I mean by small YouTubers tend to have a misunderstanding of the platform. But what I didn't mention earlier is that small YouTubers also tend to overestimate the importance of what they do on the platform, especially when it comes to something as generic as a Let's Play. Now, this user does say some things that I wholly agree with. If somebody's copying your videos wholesale, putting them up as their own videos, yeah, take that crap down. It's clearly theft. It doesn't belong on the platform. When it comes to content that's talking about other video games, be it gaming news or gaming commentary or something along the lines of what I'm going to be doing on this channel and what I did on my main channel in the past, chances are that you're going to want some gameplay to show off. Chances are also probably pretty high that you don't have access to that game yourself. And chances are also pretty high that whatever you're talking about is going to have some timely nature to it. Let's begin with the timeliness first. If something big happens in the industry and you want to talk about it and you want to show general gameplay about whatever you're talking about, whatever game you're talking about, because it's more interesting than just watching a talking face on a camera, then you're going to need to get gameplay somehow. In the best case scenario, you already own the game and you already have compelling gameplay recorded, and you can just use that. In the worst case, you don't have the game, you either do not have the funds or do not have the will to spend the money on it just for 10 minutes of footage, so you still have to get the gameplay footage somehow. So what do? Well, you have two options. One, you can ask for permission from other people who have recorded the game for their own YouTube channels. And if you're lucky, you have a friend who's also a YouTuber who has recorded that game and can possibly get some footage from them. Or you can find some relatively generic footage from some random Let's Play, of which there are about 1,000 on the internet, and use that. I have a feeling that my stance is going to be somewhat controversial, but here it goes. I don't think it's really necessary to own or have played a game to have an opinion on what the game does. I do think that if you are going to present your opinion, having not played the game, you do need to at least make clear that you do not have the game and that you have not played it, and that your opinion is coming from an outsider looking in. There are plenty of things that you can talk about in gaming about certain games that you've never played and still have a valid and meaningful opinion. Because you don't own the game and haven't played it, you'll have less context on the game, and therefore the type of opinions and the strength of those opinions is going to be inherently diminished, and you have to choose your topics very wisely and very carefully. But there's also the other side of it where you can present facts about a certain game, you know, kind of like gaming news. You don't really need to own or have played a game to present facts to people. And now for one of my spicier takes. When it comes to gameplay footage, in my opinion, and this goes for my own Let's Plays as well, just about anything is fair game. And to prove my point, let's play a little game. I'm going to play a couple of gameplay clips without audio, and I want you to guess which channel they came from. Here's the first one. Did you guess? That was a clip from Game Grumps. It also could have been a clip from me, it could have been a clip from you, it could have been a clip from anybody. Here's another one. Again, this clip could have been from anybody, but this particular one was from my friend D-Pad Gamer's second channel. Specifically episode 14 of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. So the point that I'm trying to prove here is that when it comes to just basic, generic gameplay from a Let's Play that can literally come from anybody, who cares if you use it as a clip in the background of one of your videos? It doesn't matter who it came from. It doesn't matter who did that specific performance. There's nothing special about it. For all intents and purposes, it's just a video about the game. And that could have come from literally anywhere. The key is that there's nothing uniquely identifiable or special about the gameplay that's being shown on screen. And with that in mind, that's kind of where I draw the line, right? So when it comes to speedruns or specific challenge videos or something that the streamer or the Let's Player is doing that's very special and very unique that you would not normally do in the game, like, you know, specific glitches or something, unless you're talking about the glitches, then there's like no reason to use that special gameplay. Unless you're talking about the speedrun, unless you're talking about the challenge run itself, there's no reason to use that specific gameplay. There's so much more generic things that you can use on the internet. Don't use the special stuff. Don't use the stuff that's uniquely identifiable, because that stuff takes practice and preparation. That stuff is what takes the effort to make. That is the stuff that earns its elevated importance. This is a stance that I've held for a long time out of necessity, but not everybody's gonna hold this stance, and I can kind of see where they're coming from. But it's all about context, right? If I was going to use some footage of Ocarina of Time to demonstrate a point, then I'm not going to use the commentary of that video that I'm using. There's no reason for me to. And without the commentary, the video itself, it's relatively meaningless. Again, it's just the game at that point, and it could have come from anywhere, from anyone. As with everything, there's obviously a lot of nuance when it comes to talking about this kind of thing. And I can't go over literally everything in this video, otherwise this video would be way too long, and I don't want to edit anything that long for this channel yet. But the main thing that it comes down to is the idea that there are certain things that can be done by literally anybody that is indistinguishable from anything that anybody else does in that same space, that does not need credit or permission. And then the other side, where there are things that are clearly unique, clearly took some work, and probably should be credited and maybe even need permission. I myself, the way that I make videos, I will download whatever I need to make sure that the video comes out as good as it possibly can. I do my best to make sure that it's high quality footage, and in my eyes, I'm not using your gameplay, I'm just using gameplay. If I use footage of a speed run or a challenge run, I'm going to be using that footage because I am talking about speed runs or challenge runs in particular, and in those cases they are implicitly credited by the person that's on screen, or explicitly credited by a little blurb on the video, or even a link in the description of the video. In those cases, I still would likely not ask for permission unless I felt it was absolutely necessary, which I rarely do. The whole idea of Let's Plays and speedrunning and streaming in general is built on the idea of fair use, and fair use applies not just to the video games that we're playing, but it should also apply to the footage that we create for those video games. Will my stance or my arguments hold up in a court of law? You know, I don't know. But nobody even knows if their stance on fair use or what they've created with the thought of fair use in their head will hold up in a court of law. The whole fair use thing is just, it's an ambiguous gray area that nobody knows the actual answer to, because it's all going to be up to a judge at the end of the day. So no, Mr. Let's Player 23, it's not stealing to get some generic gameplay from your channel and use it as a brief clip in the background to demonstrate what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get my channel taken down for using 10 seconds of something that's on YouTube 1,000 times in a slightly different format that you would not even be able to spot if you saw it in my video. No one's going to file a lawsuit over the 15 seconds of Ocarina of Time that I took from the Game Grumps for my video about Nintendo that's coming out sometime in the future. Because let's face it, the way that I'm using it, it's not Game Grumps, it's just Zelda. I shared this stance and my thoughts on it in text as a reply to this post on the subreddit. And what I was met with was a lot of people who, like I said, overestimate the importance of what they're doing as Let's Players. Again, I'm not advocating for you to steal somebody's video and post it wholesale. I'm not advocating for you to throw out misinformation on games that you haven't played just for the sake of having a video out. But when it comes to using other people's relatively generic gameplay footage to help you prove a point in whatever video you're making, I think it's fair game. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts about this are in the comments below. I'm sure I'm going to get some pretty heated replies. Hopefully we can drive some discussion and maybe learn more about each other, learn more about the platform, and maybe gain and or lose respect for each other in the process. But hey, after you make that comment, you can do me a favor, download that like button and put it in your own YouTube video. I'll see you next time.
So as you may have already noticed, my name is Ingenious Clown and I like gaming. Why did I start a YouTube channel? I started a YouTube channel because I've actually wanted to for a couple of years. I graduated from college in 2012, and I regret to say that it took me